After you peel the tape off it, you want to make sure that all your surfaces are clean. Take a rag again, wipe them off. Get a little bit more oil on there. Feel free to make a mess. And now you want to drop this down and install that. Now you want to be very careful when you press this down into place, because if you cock it a little bit right off the bat, then it's going to cause you more of a pain. Okay, you got the seal pretty much flush with the outside of the tube. This special Honda tool will actually act as a sealing driver too, as it only hits the outside of the seal. So what we can do is press that down into place until you hear that audible noise and you can tell it's all the way in. This little circlip, you run this down into place. I usually push one in and then I kind of thread it down and in there, pushing the end over, and then you can get a screwdriver and push it the rest of the way into place, and you'll hear it snap in. That snapped in. Chase it all the way around and make sure it snaps all the way into the groove. Rotate it, make sure life is good. And at this point, something else that I do, a little bit more oil. First thing you want that seal to see is oil all the time. You can wipe the oil that you just put on off, and then you have your new dust seal. Same thing with this. You can see all the little garbage that's up in there. I want to wipe that off as well. Put a little bit more oil on it on the back side and press that in as well. This usually you can just press in by hand. Now if we come up to the top, all that we have to do is fill this one with oil. Just to make sure it's clean, we're just going to rotate this cap on now. For future reference, put your oil in, and then you can tighten your fork cap back on. I like to press down like so. Screw that in like that. And we'll start on the next one. Okay, we're going to start on the right fork now. Before we put oil in the other one, do them both at the same time. And what you need to do is you need to remove the fork cap on this. This wrench just barely fits in there. At least it did 2 minutes ago. There you go. And you want to loosen this up. Come on. Okay, you want to remove the fork cap. Once that's off, you want to come to this side and you want to remove this seal. Let's work it out nice and slow. And then what we'll do is we're going to get on this side. We're going to lift the circlip out of position. We're going to pop it up all the way. If you need to, you can take another grab on it a little bit further back, and a little bit further back yet. Now you got the circlip out. This is where the fun begins again. We're going to use this as a slide hammer. I didn't do a very good job there. When you do this, you want to do it in the bike and pull straight down. You really don't want to scrape the inside of the tube like I just did. Sorry. You're going to see the same thing. You're going to see the seal with the little dimples to the outside. You're going to see a washer. You're going to see another guide bushing. And then you're going to see the stationary bushing. All those need to come off again. You want to repeat the process. That's off. movable bushing, washer, old seal, circlip, and the dust seal. You can see on this too, this is also the reason that you put oil in there. You want to keep all that relatively wet. It will cause rust, and even though there is only aluminum in there, aluminum still rusts. Okay, now we're going to start the process of putting it back together. Again, a little bit of lube. I just make sure that that whole thing's coated. So there's a hole right about there. I don't know if you can see it through the video, but we need to cover that hole also. It is right there. Okay, I'm going to walk this dust seal on, just like so. It's your first part. Second part is the split ring. The next part is the seal. I'll put a little bit more lube on that. Make sure that's good and wet. Again, the little dots are pointing out. And this is the important one. So you want to take your time. Make sure you walk it on there nice and easy. Coming up on that 90-degree edge where that bushing rides. And then you have the washer. Then you have the movable bushing. Again, if you're reusing your old ones, which you're more than welcome to do, just take a look, inspect them, make sure there's no big burrs or dings, make sure they're not wore out too bad. Once you get that in there, you'll want to remove your tape. This, put a little bit on the deal there, and we're gonna split this open again, just enough, and get it to slide down in there. Come on, slide down in there. If you need to, you can help it out a little bit. Okay, and again, take a file. If you did nick it up at all, give her a little bit, and you want to take a little bit of dribble of oil on there, try and get as much of that out. Wipe it off good and clean. You want to make sure you get all this cleaned out. We didn't show it on the last one, but we did take a rag and we shoved it all the way through here with basically a broom handle or whatever you got. You don't want to do it with a piece of steel. Be nice and easy with it. Try not to scar the edges. Normally I like to keep all that off to one end, and I'll tape it up just so it's out of my way. Now, as I said before, as long as I got the Honda tool, I'm going to use it. But I have taken in the past a zip tie, squeeze this thing together, and get it down inside. And I've made basically a piece of aluminum that I can come down and get against that bearing and press it in. This tool is kind of nice because it covers any bike that I do. That's why I use this. But as long as I have the right tools. But if you can imagine this getting down in there and then pounding on the top of this, the aluminum will not hurt the steel. It works pretty decent. Okay, once it starts, pull the tool off. Let the washer go down. Put the special tool back on there. Make sure you drive her good and home. Take the special tool off. Next is the seal. Here again,